Okay. All right, good evening. Welcome to the Orange County Historical Society. My name is Chris Jepson. I'm the current president. I appreciate you all being here tonight and coming out for this great program we've got planned. And just wanted to make a few announcements, few bits of news. First of all, I wanted to start out with the sad news that one of our longtime members and one of the great Orange County historians, I just learned Diane Marsh passed away in February. Yeah, and she's one of those people who did great work, whatever project she took on, and every community that she touched, and there were a bunch of them, felt like, oh, well, she's ours. You know, the people in Anaheim, well, she's ours. She lived here. She created the Anaheim Historical Society to fight the destruction of downtown's historic core. And she wrote books and she did all this great stuff, and we all love her, and she's ours. Guess what? The Santa Ana people feel the same way. And in Huntington Beach, the few people that know their Huntington Beach history, they know her book is still the go-to book on the subject of the city's history. And the same is true for Corona and a whole bunch of places you probably wouldn't even expect. And she did so much good work for so many years. And so I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge all her contributions and what she meant to the society and to Orange County history. And so with that sad bit of news, did want to talk about some of our upcoming programs. Next month, June 13th, we'll have Dr. Benjamin Jenkins here speaking on how railroads and citrus transformed Southern California. So something for everybody in that one. And he has a book out on that subject. So I've asked him to bring copies of the book to sign and sell as well. I'm going to suggest to all of our members that you show up at 6:30 instead of just trying to be here by our 7:30 start time. Because for our members, we're going to try to put out some goodies here. We'll have pizza and other refreshments in the back starting about 6:30. We're not having an annual dinner this year, that's true, but we thought we'd do something kind of fun for the end of the year. So pizza party. So you may see the event promoted still starting at 7:30. That's for the general public, but if you're a member, we will be sending out notices to members. It'll say that in the newsletter and on our website and your emails and stuff that you receive. It'll give you the information about the 6:30 time. So, also want to mention we do, because we keep selling out, no matter how many copies of Orange County Through 4 Centuries we bring, we sell out. And so we have another stack of them back there tonight. So if you do want that, again, it's one of the few great summaries of Orange County history that it runs you through all the different eras up through, I think, the late 60s when it's written. Basically from the Earth's crust cooling up through the summer of love or something like that. So that's a good one. But we have a lot of great books back there. Orange County Place Names A to Z by Phil Brigandy. There's a lot of great stuff. And of course our journals. So do check that out. And if you are a member and you need to re-up for the coming year, you can also take care of that back there with Ada at the Orange Table. And also wanted to mention that, again, for those who might have missed it, we had to postpone our Judge Pleasant's 185th birthday party, and that has, out at Majeska, that has been moved to July 27th. So we will still be doing that. Same place. Basically all the details are the same except the date. And for those who signed up last time, you're going to get contacted and get first dibs on being able to get in to register for the 27th. You've got first shot, but any openings we have after that will be open to anyone who wants to sign up. So that's kind of the update on what's going on. And with that, I'd like to introduce our speaker tonight, Patrisia Prestinary. She is as archivist at Cal State Fullerton's Pollock Library. She enables the use of special collections through primary source instruction, research consultations, processing acquisitions, and student mentorship. She did serve on our board for a good number of years. I'm trying to remember, how many years do you remember?
I think it was 2.
Just 2?
Around 2 or 3.
Yeah. Well, but you kept helping us you've helped us for a lot of years.
Printing the newsletter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she has been a volunteer for a long time as well, beyond being a board member. And she served as editor of our county courier from 2014 to 2016. She's driven by a passion for connecting scholars to historical materials. Patricia co-founded the Orange County Archives Bazaar, bringing heritage institutions together to engage the public. So with that, I'd like to introduce Patricia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for such a warm welcome. I've got to fire this back up again. So it's funny, being here tonight, being invited to speak here tonight makes me feel like I've arrived, or like, this is a really big deal for me. And I'd like to thank Stephanie, George, and Chris for welcoming me way back when, 10 years ago, when I first moved back here. And everyone at the Orange County Historical Society welcomed me into this community. And now I've got to type in my password, excuse me. And the campus makes it really hard. Okay.
I'm going to turn the speaker up a bit.
All right. So I've lived in Orange County most of my life. My family moved here in 1976, and I graduated from Foothill High School. And my first year of college was at Cal State Fullerton. But like many young people, I wanted to get out of Orange County. And so I moved to the Bay Area to experience another place for about 20 years, and then I returned in 2012. So it was about that time that I met Stephanie George, and she got me hooked up at Cal State Fullerton. I worked as a project archivist for a little while. And in my work there, I do, as Chris mentioned, I consider myself to be sort of the conduit, the person that makes things accessible to everybody. That's always been my goal there. And my days really vary. Sometimes I do instruction, I'm helping researchers, I process collections, and I mentor students. So I do a variety of tasks. And that is not going to work. Okay. So before, and a little bit more about myself and why, let's see, where am I here? Before joining Cal State Fullerton, I worked in corporate libraries, from law libraries to architecture and interior design, and then just prior to Cal State Fullerton, I managed the research library for American Zoetrope, where I worked with filmmakers and documentarians and other creatives in their work. So that really has given me a broad perspective in my work. And one of my proudest achievements since I've been back in Orange County was founding the Orange County Archives Bazaar in 2018 that brings together local heritage institutions with the general public. And it's one of the best things in the world for me to see all the people from the historical societies meet up with each other. It's like a little mini reunion, and then for the people from the general public to experience their history just wherever they are. Okay, so I should probably back up a little bit, and this stuff I do have to read because I don't have it memorized. is I'm going to introduce Cal State Fullerton first. And what I should also clarify for those of you who associate Cal State Fullerton with the Center for Oral and Public History, which is a wonderful, wonderful place that does great, great work in Orange County in local history. We are a separate unit from the Center for Oral and Public History. So University Archives and Special Collections is administered through the library, and the Center for Oral and Public History is administered through the history department. We work together a lot. We don't compete with collections. If someone gives me something that I think should go to COF, I call the folks over at COF and vice versa. We work together a lot. But we do have separate collections and separate collecting missions, I guess you could say. All right, Cal State Fullerton is a globally oriented university that serves as a hub of knowledge and culture for Southern California. It powers the region's workforce and economic development through our 110-degree programs spanning 8 colleges. Our diverse community of over 40,000 students is supported by over 2,000 full and part-time faculty members. We're nationally recognized for innovative approaches to student success and high-impact educational experiences like faculty-student research, collaborations, and then the work that we do with our student assistants, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Established in 1967 within the Pollock Library, University Archives and Special Collections is committed to preserving Cal State Fullerton's most unique and original materials while making them accessible for teaching and learning. So within our collections, it is a focus on archival materials, rare books, manuscripts, artist books, antiquarian maps, and other primary sources that tell the story of the Cal State Fullerton campus, as well as other stories that support curriculum. Okay, so now I can use this thing. Okay, who we were. So the few people who do know who we were, and actually this is one of the reasons why it's so important for me to be out here doing this kind of talk, is because everybody knows who COF is, right? People don't know that we exist. And there's a reason for that, and I'll go into that a little bit more. But before and around the time that I started, we were really known for science fiction, and we were known for the Boswell Collection for the History of Cartography. And there are other authors such as Frank Herbert and Ray Bradbury. And recently, the smash hit Dune films have reinvigorated interest in Frank Herbert's archival materials, even being mentioned in the OC Register recently. So while we do take pride in our extensive collection of antiquarian maps and atlases in the Boswell collection, and pulp magazines, manuscripts, zines, and related materials within the science fiction collections, over the past 9 years, we've broadened our efforts to enhance visibility and accessibility and outreach of our archival holdings. When I stepped into the role of managing University Archives and Special Collections after Sharon Perry's retirement in 2015, I was the sole full-time staff member. And at the time, my goals were really modest. I wanted to increase visibility and enhance accessibility. So, pretty easy stuff, right? But at the time, had really, really minimal administrative support. And with the help of interns, and later one full-time archives assistant, I was able to catalog over 70 collections within the first few years, which really laid the groundwork for the growth that we've had. Okay. All right, who we are now. So thanks to current support from library's leadership, our team has expanded. We now have a director, a full-time archive specialist, and 3 student assistants who we couldn't really do our jobs without. It's so important to have them there. Lisa, the director, she started in 2021, and she comes from background in medical archives. She worked at UC San Francisco, Weill Cornell Medicine, and Johns Hopkins. Garrett Fritz is our archive specialist, and he is a graduate from Cal State Fullerton, our history department, and he was a former intern at University Archives and Special Collections. He earned his MLIS from San Jose State University and worked for the Orange County Public Library System before joining us in 2022. And then you'll also see here Kathy, Valerie, and And Natalie, Kathy is a grad student in our American Studies program. Valerie was a grad student in our Histories, Public History program. And Valerie Christie is from the anthropology department, and she liked working in archives so much that she's decided to get her master's in archives and records administration from San Jose State. So yeah, some notable achievements that we've done since 2015. We've created 174 finding aids, which is a really significant milestone. It also involves housing materials into containers for the first time or rehousing them into appropriate archival containers. Over 3,000 reading room visits, reference questions, and requests for materials, reflecting the growing interest and accessibility of our collections. Over 200 requests to digitize collection materials. I've done instructional sessions to many departments, including African American Studies, Anthropology, Art, Asian American Studies, History, Biology, English, Music, and Geography, which really shows the interdisciplinary value of our collections. And so since 2018, we have had about 128 sessions, averaging about 3,200 students, give or take. And then that doesn't include the tours that we do, which we do for the general public and other units on campus. And we've done over 50 tours for those folks. We've now implemented a program called Archive It, which captures the campus's websites and helps us to continue documenting the university's history. Excuse me. And last year we began populating the CSUI digital repository, which will allow even greater access of our digitized collection materials. Okay. But we don't do it alone, and one of the ways that we work with, that we create exhibits is through collaborations with faculty. So we've done 3 with Dr. David Sandner and his students. He teaches the Science Fiction as Literature class. Digital Humanities projects with Dr. Jamila Moore Pugh and Dr. Annalise Schrout. History and editing class. Those are the students who edit the Wellabethan Journal. The award-winning Wellabethan Journal is quite well known. With Dr. Joe Bergdorf, the students transcribe letters and other manuscript materials and then publish them in the journal. We do an annual Spanish Civil War conference and exhibit with Dr. Aitana Guia and her students, and that's with a collection called the Cameron Stewart Collection for the Abraham Lincoln Brigade and the Spanish Civil War. I should have typed that one out. So she teaches the class on the Spanish Civil War. And then we're also now collaborating with the Digital Ethnic Futures organization called DEFCON. I know it sounds kind of ominous if you don't know what it means. And we're collaborating with them on an Archiving Black OC community archiving project in which we will go out to them and digitize their personal materials, give them a copy, and then take a copy to hold in our archives. So that is coming up soon. So we have a lot going on. All right. And okay. So our main collecting areas, and I've mentioned a couple, but just to be clear so you have an idea of the general scope of our collections. University archives, of course, which documents the campus's history. It includes administration's papers, faculty senate records, departmental materials, campus student activities, and course catalogs, interviews, photos, videos, yearbooks, commencement items, publications, master's theses, the Daily Titan, and loads of Tuffy the Titan and other campus memorabilia. So these resources support both historical research and present administrative needs. Special Collections has a really broad scope. In this, the scope is from rare books, antiquarian maps, literary manuscripts, artists' books, anything else that has a specialized topic. So it really is a very broad collecting area, and we generally accept materials into this special collections scope that support curriculum. Rare and unique items are definitely welcome, but at this point our collecting is more focused on ways in which we can support the campus's academic programs. Okay, Archives of Popular Culture was established in the 1970s by American Studies faculty. And it has a wide range of materials from Marvel and DC comics to underground comics, manga, graphic novels, screenplays and teleplays, and popular magazines from 1900 to the 1980s or so. And this collection really offers insights into 20th century American life, covering subcultures, music, film, sports, and anything you can imagine in that realm. And it's really a valuable resource for pop culture enthusiasts, supports American studies, but really anyone who's interested in this type of material. All right. Some people have heard of the Freedom Center. And the Freedom Center was a collaboration between the library and the political science department. And it is also primarily and strongest in the mid-20th century. It covers social, religious movements. Some of the areas are labor, civil rights, ecology, LGBTQ+ issues, anything sort of ranging from libertarianism to anarchism and everything in between. And once you get to the far ends of the spectrum, they start sounding very similar. Okay, so the Freedom Center is our most requested collection. The Zuniga Research Collection preserves documents related to the founding and activities of the Chicana and Chicano Resource Center from 1972 to about the 1990s. It was initially known as the Mexico and Southwest Collection, and I'll talk a little bit more about this collection later. Of course, local history. It's not last and least or any in that way, last and least, but I'm going to focus on that now. And I just want to say that there was so much more that I would like to have included, but I might have kept you a lot longer. So I'm going to try to keep it to half an hour to 45 minutes. Okay. So the local history subject files are materials that you probably have never heard of because they haven't been out there and cataloged. And so I'm really excited to tell you about these now because we're about 75% finished cataloging them. And we've been working on these for years now, where students have been diligently reboxing things and cataloging them. And so it is a comprehensive assortment of materials documenting the history of Orange County and other cities and counties across the state from 1776 to the present. The local history collection also has over 1,800 catalogs, books, and pamphlets, 136 periodical titles, and 15 sub-collections, a few of which I'm going to talk about today. So some notable mentions from this collection are the early California letters that contains original correspondence from the 19th century in California. Approximately 100 letters represent 60 years of early California history from 1834 to 1894. And many of these letters are surrounding the rancho-based society that made up Southern California, as well as letters that show us what the lives of early Californians were like. So of particular note are 6 letters written to and from Pio Pico, who was a successful rancher and the last Mexican governor of California. Okay, the Edinger family papers are the personal family papers and photographs donated by Oscar Edinger Sr. and were recently digitized in full by one of our student assistants at the request of his grandson, William Edinger. So yes, it was. Other things that I mentioned here. Oh, Los Angeles Olympics. We have materials from 1932 and 1984. So given that there's another Olympics coming back to LA, there might be some interest in that. And we also have the San Juan Capistrano mission records on microfilm, which apparently we are the only ones who have these. So, and those are cataloged and findable online. And I will show everyone how to find these materials online when I get to the end of all of this. Okay, this one. All right. The citrus industry collection is a cornerstone of our local history collections, and it is primarily association records that were donated by Ed Salter. He was a pioneering Salter family member whose roots in the citrus industry go back to 1870. Salter managed the Santiago Orange Growers Association and volunteered in numerous organizations that preserve Orange County's history. So within these collections, we have things like a canvas, picking sack, fruit stamp dies, picking rings, field nippers, crate labels, company seals, and fruit crates, along with the business documents, contracts, financial records, meeting minutes, and annual reports. All right, the Haven Seed Company collection was acquired from the Orange County Historical Society. I see some people are familiar with that one. We acquired it in 2014, and it documents the operations of this family's business and the personal lives of its founding family. It spans over 100 years from 1873 to 1980, and the collection includes business and personal correspondence, stock seed books, crop books, planting memorabilia, vitality test books, receiving books, address books, and notebooks used during sales trips. These records meticulously document the company's journey across multiple locations from Bloomingdale and South Haven in Michigan to Arroyo Grande, Lodi, and Santa Ana, California, and also provides insights into the evolution of the seed industry. And while cataloging this collection, we discovered that the seed catalogs had been given to the Arboretum. So now they've been reunited with the collection. It's all one place in the archives. All right. So the Japanese American incarceration in California is a collection which originated in part from an oral history project. And it shows multiple perspectives on the incarceration of Japanese Americans during World War II. It's composed primarily of ephemera and materials related to post-war activism, but offers a testament to the experiences of those directly impacted by the relocation program. The collection includes the official government report on the Manzanar Relocation Center, as well as contributions from Georgia Day Robertson, who wrote Harvest of Hate, as well as a manuscript for that book. She was a vice principal of a high school within the Poston Relocation Center. And Seiko Ishida, she's a school teacher who was interned at Manzanar and donated her photo album as part of her oral history testimony. And the photo album is here with us today. So, and additionally, it features research studies, bibliographies, and oral history project reports compiled by Betty Mitzen of the Center for Oral and Public History. So this collection is a case in which the oral histories were kept in the Center for Oral and Public History, and the photographs and materials and documentation were stored in university archives and special collections. It's a practice that we don't follow anymore, but at the time was how they did it. And maybe Stephanie knows a little bit more about why, but you can ask her later. Okay, next one. All right, Orange County Press Club, which was established in 1953 in the living room of Orange County Register civic editor Harry Harvey. The Press Club has played a role in fostering networking and camaraderie among local media professionals, and its primary mission is to provide a platform for those employed by news organizations, magazines, and news media outlets in Orange County to connect and support aspiring journalists and recognize excellence in writing and reporting, and that's from their website. This collection has materials including office records, correspondence, event documentation, industry publications like Ad One and OC Reporter magazines, Disney-designed logo artwork, and photographs of past presidents. It offers a glimpse into the club's history and their impact on the local journalism community. And the photograph on the slide is Chris at the Los Angeles Archives Bazaar. I think that was 2017. We were all asked to bring some kind of a a mascot, I think, to the event. That was part of one of the themes. So this is the one that I brought. Chris was the only one who recognized it and knew what it was. So, okay. All right. Mary A. Smart Studio Photographs. Collection spans 1882 to 1953. And was of this studio that operated in Santa Ana for over a century, with its primary focus on exterior locations throughout Orange County, including Santa Ana, Tustin, Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, Garden Grove, Orange, San Juan Capistrano, San Juan Hot Springs, and Irvine, as well as Catalina Island and Riverside. It also includes glass plate negatives, film negatives, and prints, and preserves the artistry of Benjamin Franklin Conway and Lou Peake Hickox, who also played a role in shaping the studio's legacy. And I believe some of the collection, the portraits, were donated to the Orange County Archives, and then some other part of the collection is at UCI. And so ours is fully cataloged, and some of the images are available online as well. Okay. All right, United Daughters of the Confederacy. The organization was founded in 1894, and it's a national organization of women whose ancestors served in the Confederate States of America during the American Civil War from 1861 to 1865. They were initially formed to decorate soldiers' graves, a tradition that later became Memorial Day, and the organization expanded its mission to include locating, marking, and decorating graves and caring for veterans and their widows. Okay, this collection chronicles the activities of the Emma Sansom chapter number 449, the fourth chapter established in California, formed in Santa Ana on May 24th, 1899 by Charlie Louise Montgomery. Montgomery served as the chapter's first president for 15 years and later became the second California division president from 1903 to 1905. The chapter's namesake, Emma Sansom, aided General Nathan Forrest's forces during the Civil War by guiding them to a river crossing, contributing to the surrender of Union General Abel Strait. In November 1981, the members voted to donate their records to the Cal State Fullerton patrons of the library, which eventually made its way to us. And the collection includes papers, documents, photographs, scrapbooks, periodicals, and memorabilia that provides a comprehensive look at the chapter's activities. We also evidently have the largest and most complete collection of the UDC magazine, which is the national publication, but apparently it isn't available anywhere else. And I've had a scholar from Israel tell me this. He came all the way from Israel to see our collection of the UDC magazine, yeah. And right now, there's a lot of interest in this group because of the people examining the erection of Confederate monuments all over the U.S. Okay. Commemorating the 25th anniversary of the arrival of Vietnamese refugees in Orange County, this collection features 110 photographs from the traveling exhibition, The Vietnamese, A Self-Portrait of a People. It was accessioned into the archives in 2011. It was curated by Jeffrey Brody and Dave DeVries of the Communications Department in collaboration with the Vietnamese Student Association and Art Hansen of the Center for Oral and Public History. These images celebrate multiculturalism and document the vibrancy of the Vietnamese American community. Okay. The Alfredo H. Zuniga Research Collection was named in honor of its founding librarian. And transferring the collection to University Archives and Special Collection has been an ongoing collaborative project between us and the Chicano Resource Librarian, Barbara Miller. This collection contains documents related to the founding and activities of the Chicano Resource Center, initially established in 1972 as a Mexico and Southwest collection. The collection has over 500 audiovisual recordings documenting the Chicano community in Orange County and events of historical and cultural significance to the university. It includes local Chicano newspapers, books, journals, and magazines dating back to the beginnings of the Chicano movement in Orange County. So I recognize the importance of making these materials available to researchers shortly after joining University Archives and Special Collections. I approached Barbara Miller at the time and proposed giving the collection a home in the archives. And she and I and our students and her students and my students have been working on this project since before the pandemic. It was brought to light and formally named in honor of its founding librarian, Alfredo H. Zuniga, last year. And this is an example in which university archives, our university archives, you can think of them as also being part of local history. So, all right. Now, I wanted to do a demo of how to find collections material, but I'm just realizing I can't do that unless my computer is hooked up. Or if you let me sit over there and use yours. Is it on? Okay.
I don't know, there's no line lock in here though, so.
We can't do the demo?
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
Maybe you could hook to a hotspot.
I could. It would take a minute though. Take a breather.
About interpretive dance.
Okay, I'll tell you verbally. So we have a website. No. So if you go to the Pollock Library's website, library.fullerton.edu, you can connect to University Archives and Special Collections, our own webpage. Our webpage, all of the links on there direct you to pages on how to contact us, our collections, how to do research, and they all lead to the same page that you can use to learn about our reading room hours and when you can visit and how to visit, which hours we're open. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays by appointment. Our catalogs, our books, periodicals, and finding aids, online finding aids, are all searchable through the library's catalog. So if you can do a keyword search and narrow it down to Special Collections or CSUF archives. So that's why it's so much better for me to show you. Or you can go directly to our finding aids database and search that as well. But we're here to help you. We're here to help you if you come into the reading room. We're here to help you if you send us an email. Say, do you have any materials on La Habra? What have you got in this area? What do you have in this? We're happy to help. We have a team of avid students, an archives assistant, and me who all help researchers with their requests. So please don't feel like you have to learn how to do an online search to access our collections. The important part, the exciting part, is that because they are cataloged online, they are findable online. It means anybody doing a search in Google can find our materials, our finding aids, and our books and our journals. So that's the quick version of that. Okay, and there's we'll quickly, before I open it up to questions, I'm going to tell you what we have here in front. I know some of you have already taken a quick look, but these are some photographs from the Smart Studio collection, and I chose ones of people camping and at the beach because they're kind of my favorite ones to see people frolicking and dresses down to the ankles, and just the whole kind of beach vibe that has always existed here. This is Seiko Ishida's photo album. I take this to classes and for students to see quite a bit, so if you do look through it, I ask that you are careful with it. But what's really nice about this album is that it documents her life from the time that she was a child. She was born in Washington State, and her parents sent her and her brother back to Japan to learn the language and the customs. And she came back here and became a teacher, and then when she was taken to Manzanar, she also was a school teacher there. And so you see in the part of the last part of the album that depicts her time at Manzanar, the photographs of her school children and the teachers and flower arranging competitions and their church. It's really very, very, very personal. So it's one of my favorite items in the collection in general, just because I think it must have been so personal to her, and that incredible that she was willing to share it with us. So that's one of my favorite items in the collection. Here, the UDC magazine, and I also split it up. UDC magazine's over here, and then there's a picture of one of their annual meetings in Huntington Beach on this side. Some items from the CRC, which I now have to remember to call the ZRC. We have a number of local, these two are local Santa Ana newspapers, and MECHA was a campus organization. Just a few photos from the Orange County Press Club. I think I have a poster of the little orange press guy, but I left it in the thing. But these guys, they look like a really fun bunch. You see they have some pretty fun events here. And then these are all from the Vietnamese, A Self-Portrait of a People. Last bit here is just a few items from the Haven Seed Collection. And then you are all welcome to grab a postcard and a business card if you'd like to, if you like the artwork and you'd like to take a little memento with you. Each of the postcards has a little bit about the collection on the back. So, all right. So without the demo, I'm so used to doing that because I teach so much. But anyway, you can find us. You can find us. You really can. Yeah. All right. Call us. Yeah. Thank you. Happy to answer any questions anyone might have. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think I saw that one go first. Yes.
Okay. I'm a writer, an author, and I do a lot of lectures, and I found that historical photos, like through the LA County Library and so forth, $150 and up. Do you charge exorbitant amounts for using your photos or maps?
No, we don't charge at all.
Ah, okay.
Mainly because we're publicly funded. So we do have an agreement that we ask people to sign that states you're allowed to use these photographs for this project and this project only. And that's it. We just ask you to sign the agreement with and ask that you cite us as your source. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, yes.
I write a newsletter for a historical society. Is that something that you would be interested in having?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
it'll go on the mailing list.
Okay, great, thank you. Which historical society?
Garden Grove.
We get that one already.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, these are the only two that we get are Orange County Historical Society and Garden Grove. Yes, so we're already. Thank you for thinking this. The rest of
The rest of the city.
the rest.
Historic Society, do you get those?
Yes, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yes, please.
I got you
Yes,
covered.
Yorba Linda, Anaheim. Okay, thank you. Yes.
I have a friend that went to film school at Cal State there. I think took a lot of film study courses. Is there like a lot in your archives about the film department or things of that nature?
So that would be the communications department, and typically what we will have from most of the departments are the drier materials, like annual reports. Sometimes if they have a newsletter that they release or some sort of publication, we'll try and get those.
Like animation work and other
We don't get their videos. They keep those. Yeah, unfortunately, no. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever gotten?
There is one thing I can mention, but it's not appropriate. I don't know how to describe it. Okay. So we didn't add it to the collection because it was sent to us anonymously. But I don't know if I can say this with a straight face. We received a scrapbook from a gentleman who was a nudist and sent photographs of us various beaches, and photographs of himself rather, at various beaches and other people. Yeah. So, but because he didn't sign a deed of gift, and we didn't have a copyright for it, and we didn't have a name, we decided not to. And we're struggling to find research value in it. We decided not to add it to the collection. I didn't throw it away though. I think I still have it in my stuff somewhere, but it hasn't been accessioned.
one for
frolicking?
Well, I'd forgotten about that. What's that?
Doesn't that go under frolicking?
Maybe. Yes.
What in your collection is digitized?
Right now, we've got the entire Boswell collection. The maps have been digitized. Parts of the Freedom Center. And then most of the rest of the materials we've digitized were digitized requests. So items that people have requested because they couldn't visit us. And so there's an assortment of materials. And we have a lot of the Japanese American incarceration collection. That's digitized and available on the CSU Japanese American Digitization website, which includes materials from all of the CSUs, including the Center for World Public History.
How are your other digitized items available? Are they available through Reveal California?
Yes, so the Smart Studio collection is available on California Revealed. And then we also have recordings from the science fiction collection and also from the ZRC available on interviews and lectures and events. The audio are available on California Revealed. I think there was one back here.
I just wondered, how do you choose your next special collection project? Is it only through the professors and the school, or?
Do you mean how do we choose which materials we take in?
So, yeah, I mean, do you decide? I mean, like I'm with the Native Daughters of the Golden West, and we have a home up in San Francisco, and we have archives of the pioneers, a list of people who came across the West and things like that. I'm just wondering, would you be interested in something like that? I mean,
Yes, we would. Although because does it document San Francisco area
it's
history?
archived in the home, but I mean, I don't know how that works.
It's all in California.
Well, my first inclination would be to offer it to someone locally first, and then if they're not interested, then yes, we would take it.
Because we have all kinds of documents that were signed, you know, when the state became a state up in Monterey and things like that that are like, you know, valuable that should be kept somewhere really, really important, you know, that's all I was saying.
Yes,
And
yes,
then I was wondering, when is the
that's definitely something within our scope.
When is the historical bazaar? Because that would be something fun to go to.
So yes, those are taking place now in March, and we just had one at the Great Park this past March, and we've already scheduled next year's. I think it's the 17th, and next year we're planning to include as part of the programming commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Vietnamese refugees coming to the fall of Saigon and the Vietnamese community coming to Orange County. Yeah. So yes, we typically will post notices on our social media and then send out emails to the historical societies and to invite them to table at the event. It is fun. Yes.
If somebody wanted to donate something, how would they do that?
You would contact Lisa Mix, whose picture isn't up anymore. Lisa Mix is the director, and she and I screen all of the potential donations. So you can either reach us through our website, or I can give you my card and you can message me. I'd be happy to take a look. Okay, yes.
Can you tell us about the Photograph magazine, what you have?
I would have to look it up for the exact dates and all that. I would have to look that up in our catalog. I don't know that off the top of my head. But if you would send me an email, I can check that for you and respond with that, yeah. Yes, Stephanie.
In your slides, you've mentioned your archive space instance. Is that also on your website, or is it best just to go through your catalog? And part two, are your finding aids also pushed to OAC?
Yes, yes to both. If you go to, having a demo, being able to demo this would be so much easier. No, I can't because I don't have Wi-Fi. So from our research guide, so our website links to our research guide. If you go to the research guide to researching our collections, there is a link directly to archive space from there. So you can access it that way. And it's also piped into OneSearch. You can search it from the regular library catalog, yeah. What was the second question?
Well, not OAC.
OAC,
I think
yes.
offering people another option.
Yes,
Of looking that way.
that's right, we do. We are on the OAC. We export PDFs of all of our finding aids and add them to the OAC. We might be a little bit behind because my students have just been cranking out. They're so enthusiastic and work so hard. So we might be a little bit behind on updating, but we should be up to date to at least end of 2023. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I wonder if you cross-pollinate between the other Cal State universities. Like when I worked at Long Beach, I did all the oral histories.
Yeah.
And I interviewed 1932 athletes that were still alive. So I know that they have those in their collections, and also a lot of the Vietnamese collections and things.
Yeah.
So it would be lovely if we'll all go together and blend together for people doing research. I mean, somehow.
The Center for Oral and Public History and University Archives and Special Collections. Between the colleges or
Yeah,
between?
Between the Cal State universities.
OAC.
Yes, so it all depends on how because each university does things differently, each unit does things differently. If they have cataloged their collections using archive space and piped it into one search, you can find it all in the same place. But it varies, it just depends on each individual institution. Yeah, because our archive space instance is piped into one search, but the one search searches all of the CSUs now. It's kind of like Melville for the UCIs. It's a consortial catalog. But as far as all the special collections units, so many of us maybe only had one full-time person for so many years. It's only really recent that we've gotten more support. So it really just varies on whether or not they can afford archive space, whether they've cataloged it somehow and then made it available. So the other option then, as Stephanie said, would be the Online Archive of California, if they've created a finding aid. Yeah, I know. I do wish that we were a little bit more integrated in that way, but it's like herding cats.
Yeah.
Did I get everybody? Okay, well, thank you all so much for all your questions. And please do come up and take a look at the materials that I brought.
Great. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure.
That's great. I very much appreciate, because I spent a year trying to get into archives and special collections to visit, and I could never find a time when the door was unlocked and there was no posted schedule. And so the fact that you are making it readily accessible to the public, to particularly the students and faculty, that's wonderful. So you've got a lot of good stuff and you're adding so many great things. So very exciting.
Saturdays by appointment, and parking is free on Saturdays.
I recommend you guys set up times and we can all go.
Yeah, you can handle 70 people descending all simultaneously, right? Have you got enough cotton gloves for them all to handle photos at the same time? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to do a tour. Sure, yes, gladly. For smaller.
Yeah.
30 people.
Well,
It's a small space.
yeah. Well, thank you so much again, and thank you all for coming tonight. We look forward to seeing you in June for trains and citrus and pizza. And speaking of goodies, do help yourself to refreshments at the back of the room, and we will see you all next time. Take care.